President-elect Trump announces more cabinet nominations, including a surprise pick for Attorney General, as Republicans secure control of both chambers of Congress. The United Nations says Israeli construction along a buffer zone with Syria is a severe violation of a ceasefire agreement. And torrential rain and flooding continues to slam Spain just 2 weeks after deadly flooding that killed hundreds.
And hundreds of tourists are facing chaos and delays on the Indonesian holiday island of Bali after volcanic ash made it too dangerous to fly. Flights are now resuming. An appeals court in Argentina has upheld former President Cristina Fernández Kirchner's conviction for corruption. In 2022, she was found guilty of defrauding the state by awarding public contracts to a family friend. She was given a 6-year prison sentence and declared ineligible to hold elected office. Ms. Fernández can still appeal to the Supreme Court. Residents of the self-declared independent Republic of Somaliland cast their ballots on Wednesday in a presidential election that was delayed for 2 years. 3 candidates are vying for the presidency, including the incumbent Muse Bihi Abdi, who has held office for 7 years. During that time, President Bihi has pushed for international recognition, but sparked controversy and conflict by delaying this election. As wildfires rip through the U.S. state of New Jersey, authorities have issued a drought warning. Conditions there are the driest they've been in nearly 120 years. State leaders are now asking people to use less water. It may become a legal demand if conditions do not improve in the coming months.
The father of 10-year-old Sarah Sharif, who was found dead at her home in Surrey, has told a court that he now accepts full responsibility for her death. Orfan Sharif had denied killing her, but today he told the court, quote, "She died because of me." But he insisted he did not intend to kill his daughter. His daughter's body was found with dozens of injuries at the family's home last year. The DIY store Homebase has collapsed into administration, putting 2,000 jobs at risk. Its owner, Hilco, had been looking to sell the struggling retailer, but has not managed to find an outright buyer. The owner of homeware chain The Range is buying up to 70 stores and the brand name. And more than 100 post office branches could potentially close, putting 1,000 jobs at risk in a major restructuring of the business. The plans aim to put the business on a firmer financial footing. Now, it comes as the long-running inquiry into the Horizon IT scandal heads into its final stages. And you can, of course, find more on all of these stories on our website, bbc.com/news.
Our headlines today. Independent pharmacists in England, Wales and Northern Ireland could refuse to open in the evening and at weekends from January after voting in favour of industrial action for the first time.
Donald Trump will have full control of government in the US after his Republican Party retained its majority in the House of Representatives.
Prostate cancer research calls for targeted national screening programme to diagnose more people earlier every year.
This may look like an ordinary house in an ordinary street, but this is no regular building. It's Salford University's energy house where they can control weather conditions. We're here to find out about heat pumps like this as an alternative to gas boilers for heating our homes.
Good morning. In sport, unrest in the England camp ahead of tonight's must-win game in Greece. Captain Harry Kane is unhappy that 9 players have cried off, saying country should come before club.
And the family of a triple Olympic champion appealed for the return of his gold medals after they were stolen for a second time. Keeping a close eye on Paddy McGuinness because he's got this ultra-endurance cycle challenge, you know this, for children in need, and he's just got a really big boost.
Boost to the funding. The television presenter is more than halfway through his journey across 3 nations. He's riding from Wrexham to Glasgow on a rally chopper. He's already raised more than £2.5 million, and now philanthropist Tom Hunter has announced that from now on, he's going to match every pound raised up to £2 million. And this is the moment Paddy was told the news on Radio 2.
Oh, my God. Oh, that is so incredibly generous. I cannot wait now, Sarah, to get to bed tonight, so we are up at the crack of dawn. We're on that bike and we are gonna get as much money as we can, because that is absolutely mind-blowing. So generous. Thank you so much for that.
Well, you can feel the emotion there, can't you? In amongst the hardship. So effectively what it means is every pound donated by the public becomes 2 from here on in.
Up
from
to
this
two,
point
up
on.
to £2 million.
Yeah.
Very, very generous. And what a boost, because, you know, these things are exhausting. We've followed so many. Let's take a look at the papers. The Times says the government is facing a growing business backlash over last month's budget, which included a £25 billion increase in employers' national insurance contributions. The paper says the British Retail Consortium has drafted a letter telling the Chancellor that its members will not be able to absorb the extra costs.
Let's have a look at the Daily Mail, leading on the story that councils will be allowed to increase council tax by up to 5% next year, meaning a possible jump of £110 in average bills, according to the paper. And if we move on to the Eye, featuring an exclusive story in which it says Labour's pledge to build 1.5 million homes by the end of this Parliament has been plunged into doubt, is more likely to take a decade. The paper says that's according to an email from the head of Homes England, which has been seen by the paper.
The Guardian features a photo of Donald Trump and Joe Biden shaking hands. Mr. Trump returned to the White House to discuss a smooth transfer of power following his success in the US presidential election.
Do you know, I remember talking about this story before, about whether if you had the possibility, would you want to track, you're getting on a plane, would you want to put a device on your bag so you can track where it is?
People do that.
Yes. Do they?
Yeah. Yeah. You have these tags that you put on your suitcase and then you can track it. And so if it gets lost and the airline says, oh, no, it'll be on the next flight, you can go, actually, no, it's in Kuala Lumpur. I need it back here. OK,
so a number of airlines now, which is why it's in the papers today, are saying they're going to do this scheme. So British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, for example, we're using a tag on their bags to know. I remember thinking about this before. I was just thinking, if you're following your bag in real time and you just see it going off in the other direction and you're going to, you know, Los Angeles and the bag is on its way to, you know, Guadeloupe.
All right, Guadeloupe.
For example.
Good place.
Then that's just very, very stressful because you're going to know it for 13 hours.
But what you can do is when someone's saying to you, when an official is saying to you, oh, no, we've got an idea of where your bag is, you can say, no, it's there. You're telling me porkies, it's there, so bring it back. Gives you a little bit more control.
I'm not convinced. I think it sounds very stressful, but there you go.
Well, it's stressful anyway, isn't it, losing your baggage?
It is indeed. 6:26 is the time.
Victoria Hollins. Up to 32 post office branches across London could close as part of a national shake-up aimed at restructuring the taxpayer-owned business. The capital could see more closures of the wholly owned branches than any other region. The independent MP for Islington North urged the government to consider the reopening or extension of the Crown Post Office network.
And it is central to the life of a high street or a community all over the country, and the post office can play a huge role in the regeneration of our town centres.
Well, I absolutely think my right honourable friend is right to stress the importance of post office branches to the future of all our communities.
Well, you can see the full list of branches in London being considered for closure on our website. Euston Station has deteriorated to the point where its marble columns are held together by bands because it would fall off without them, the Rail Minister has said. Lord Hendy of Richmond Hill, a former chairman of Network Rail and TfL Commissioner, told peers in Westminster that the station was no longer in fit condition. There are plans to redevelop Euston, including a larger concourse, but these are subject to Network Rail securing more government funding. A Jacobean mansion and a concert venue in a Baroque church are among 26 sites across London to be added to the Historic England's at-risk register. Charlton House in Greenwich, built in 1612 and repaired following damage caused in the Blitz, has a leaky roof affecting its historic interior. Other sites added include the Grade 1 listed Smith Square Hall in Westminster and Stoke Newington Town Hall. It means there are now 599 sites across the capital deemed at risk of neglect, decay or inappropriate development by the Heritage Group.
At 6, 3 more women who worked at Harrods come forward with sex abuse allegations, this time against Mohammed Al Fayed's brother. Salad Fayed was one of 3 brothers who bought the luxury department store in 1985. This woman says he raped her.
I know it's affected my life badly. All of these things I've talked about, we need to speak up to stop it happening to other people.
Also tonight, the Governor of the Bank of England says Brexit has weakened the economy and the UK must welcome opportunities to rebuild relations with the EU. There is a very real problem of corruption among some prison officers, admits their union, after a record number are sacked for misconduct. Animals stressed by fireworks. Edinburgh Zoo calls for restrictions after 2 red pandas die. And club over country. England's captain is disappointed by a depleted team for tonight's match against Greece. What do the fans think?
They should be here. It's their country. It's the greatest honour, isn't it, playing for England?
9 players pulled out. I think we'll be looking to get away with a draw.
And in the capital, we meet 2 London mothers who claim terror laws are being misused after their daughters were detained for taking part in a direct action, an Israeli defence firm.
And the judge said no bail, and that memory will just be, it will stay with me forever, because it was literally my child's being taken away from me.
Also on the programme, saving London's heritage as nearly 600 sites are revealed as officially at risk. Plus teaching circus skills to children with additional needs, the safe space supported by BBC Children in Need. And
Choir master Gareth Malone conducts a choir on the 78th floor of the Shard for a choral switch on of the Christmas lights later on in the programme.
A former Metropolitan Police officer has denied 8 sex offences. David Carrick is accused of 2 counts of rape, 1 count of sexual assault and 1 count of coercive and controlling behaviour against a woman between 2014 and 2019. He's also charged with 5 counts of indecent assault against a girl under 16 when he was a teenager. Euston Station has deteriorated to the point where its marble columns are held together by bands because parts would fall off without them, the Rail Minister has said. Lord Hendy, a former TfL commissioner, told the House of Lords that the station was no longer in a fit condition. There are plans to redevelop Euston, but these are subject to Network Rail securing more government funding. And Sir Rod Stewart thinks he may have to find new owners for his 5 sports cars due to the potholes on the roads near his home. The singer has previously picked up a shovel himself to fill the holes along the damaged road near Harlow.